Today we're thrilled to have special guest with a seasoned coach and health insurance expert who's going to help us understand the significant rise in health insurance renewals and how to make the most of employee benefits in these changing times. Let's chat. Travis Robinson is with us. Welcome. Good morning, Travis.
Good morning. How are we doing today?
Doing good. Glad to have you with us. So, health insurance. I know we know that auto insurance is going up because that's the other than housing, shelter. That's right. All that's increasing in the inflation world right now. But health insurance, that's going up too.
Yeah, we're seeing a pretty big trend. We're seeing on average around, I would say 12 to 17% increases for businesses in California. So I would say a pretty big increase. Yeah.
Wow. Those are some big numbers.
Yeah.
That's just California. It's not happening nationwide.
Well, I mean, most of our businesses are based in California. We have a lot of businesses that are here that have employees in other states, and those rates are a little bit different, but majority of our businesses are in California. So yeah, I would say that's strictly California.
Okay. So is there any solutions to it? Any options to it, or you just have to suck it up?
No, there's we provide, custom quotes. So if people are with one carrier, say Blue Shield, Kaiser, majority of the time we can move them to other carriers and not have such a big increase. Or if you can use smaller networks, right? If we get access to what doctors are using, what facilities they need to go to, we can put them in a reduced network, make sure that their doctors aren't affected in that, and then save them quite a bit of money.
So I'm gonna go consumer advocate, full bore consumer advocate on you, Travis.
Sure.
When you're going out there and chatting with businesses, about these changes, you're not dealing with the Apple computer or Salesforce or NVIDIA. That's not really your client, is it?
No, we deal with mid-size. So employees, I mean, the smallest client I have is 2 employees. The largest client I have is 1,000. I would say our niche, or where we can really make a difference, is 20 employees to 100 employees. That's where we can really help a business owner, an HR professional, a CFO, because we have access. If you're my client, you have access to HR professionals. We'll do your employee handbooks. We will provide a lot of compliance issues, sexual harassment training, workplace violence protection plans. We do that all complimentary for our clients.
So, but here's the question I have for you, and I only speak from experience. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I was part of the ownership team of a company, okay, and we did offer health insurance way back when, and I'm sure laws have changed since then. But when our people sat down with our health insurance provider, we kind of said, okay, here's who the family uses from the way of doctors. Mm-hmm. This is the area that we live in. We want to get coverage based on this information. We really didn't survey all of our employees to make sure that they were in coverage. Is that the norm?
Not for most people, but for us, we like to send out actual surveys to the employees and get their feedback, right? So that gives feedback to the employer. It lets them know what their employees want, what they're looking for, what facilities that they utilize. So we really like to gather that information. So we're making not only the business owner happy, but all the employees happy as well.
That's a great solution, because it wasn't something that was offered to us when we had our company.
Right.
And so we didn't even do those surveys. We looked and said, okay, this is where we live. This is the hospital we like to go to. This is the doctors. It's probably, between 8 or 10 family members. These are the pediatrician, the OBs, the GPs, because of my excessive size, the orthopedists. Make sure they're on there, and hopefully that solves every other problem. So it's good to hear that you're doing it a little more blanketed, but then maybe the technology helps with that a little now too.
Yeah, 100%. Everything we do is paperless. We can still use paper. We don't really like to do it, but some businesses prefer it. But Our systems are paperless. It speeds up the process. It eliminates mistakes. We get groups enrolled and approved in about 48 hours, and when everything's done, so it speeds up everything.
Well, and the when you're speeding things up, when you're getting rid of the mistakes, you're getting better information. It might help with costs too, because if you have to hire an extra 10 people to service a company, those people have to be paid for. There's no free lunches, so somehow they're getting paid for.
Right.
We're going to continue our conversation with Travis Robinson when we come back. Continue our conversation. Travis Robinson is with us. Maxwell Agency. They are taking care of the businesses' health insurance that they're providing to the consumer, but more. We always like to put that "but more" in there, because the part they get paid for is for the business insurance, for the health insurance. The value add. It's not free. Don't let anybody tell you it's free. It's a value add that they provide. There's nobody sitting there doing HR service and saying, "Hey, Travis, we like you. We're going to come do it for you for free." Right? They're paying for that as a value add to you, to give you an incentive to use them over everybody else that's not as good as they are.
Correct.
So talk about some of those services, Travis.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of them, right? Now, compliance is a big one. We make sure our clients are in compliance with ACA, with sexual harassment training, with workplace violence protection plan, which just came out in July. So if you have around 10 employees, there's a list of issues that will put you in danger of being out of compliance. But if you have 10 or more employees in one spot, you got to have the workplace violence protection plans and the training in place. We'll give access to HR professionals. We'll do their employee handbooks every year. We'll update those, and those should be updated. And every single employee needs to sign that, review it, and sign it. And we do all that digitally. So there's a lot of things that we bring to the table to help business owners, because they're probably not up to date on a lot of that. I think 85% of businesses are out of compliance in some aspect. So we can help.
Yeah, so just think about that. I every once in a while, a thought comes into my head, which is a bit scary. And you wonder and you say, okay, what would it cost a business to go out and hire an HR manager? So I went to this super secret website, google.com, and I put in there, what is the salary of an HR manager? As of May of last year, median salary for a human resource manager in the U.S. means half of them got paid more, half got paid less. I'm kind of shocked by the number. I wouldn't have guessed it, but Travis, I'm sure, knows it because he's in the industry. $136,000 a year. Under 10% of them, only under 10% make $81,000. The top 25% earn over $182,000.
It's a full-time job.
Yeah. So think about that. 136,000
Right.
is the median number. Now, for that service, Travis, what is Maxwell Agency charge?
Nothing.
So if I own the business and I've got 20 employees and I'm saving $81,000, that's going right to my bottom line.
Right. Well, I mean, we come in and we make sure that they're in compliance with all that stuff. HR, they'll have access to HR professionals where they can call up and say, hey, we need to terminate this employee. What's the best way to do that? And those HR professionals will walk them through the steps to make sure that they're not doing anything that they shouldn't be doing. So, and it's not me. They're not calling me directly. We pay a service. They're actual HR professionals. So it helps the business owners out quite a bit.
Because, well, I mentioned that I was a business owner. So I basically, if you're out of compliance, if you're running a business, you're pretty busy.
Yeah.
I always say that I only work half day. That's 12 hours. Well, sometimes I work more than that. But the bottom line is I don't have the time or desire to study all these different laws. I mean, you just said that a new one came out just recently, right, Travis?
Yeah, workplace violence protection plan and training. So you have to have a plan in place, and then you also have to have all of your employees go through training. So that came out July of this year. So most people are out of compliance on that, I would say, without a doubt. unless you're one of my clients. Then we're working on it, and it's a process. But if you get the process started and you get them through, get it going, then there's going to be a little leeway there. But if you haven't started the process, I would give me a call today.
And you made a comment a little bit earlier, Travis, about making sure you're in compliance. The Affordable Care Act non-compliance fine up to $500,000.
Yeah, I'm doing a presentation in one of my groups next week, and I'm trying to put together information, and I'm trying to make it a simple sheet to show all the compliant, like all the fines, and I can't do it. It's going to be a 10-page document if I try to put it there. There's so many fines and there's so much stuff that you have to be in compliance with. It's overwhelming.
I mean, look at this. ACA, 2880 or 4320 per employee.
Mm-hmm.
Americans with Disabilities Act, up to $55,000 fine. Repeat offenders, $110,000. Fair Labor Standards Act, $1,000 fine per violation. I mean, it goes on and on. And so when you're talking to Travis and his team, that's some big potential savings for people.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah. And as long as and people don't know what they don't know, right? So if you don't know that you need these things, but we have a checklist. Once you become my client, and you could sign up, you could sign a BOR today, and effective. It's called a broker of record. So a BOR.
Oh, okay. I'm a simple guy, Travis. I don't understand all this stuff.
Sorry. Yeah. A broker of record. That doesn't change your medical benefits. It doesn't change anything. The only thing that changes is that you're now my client, and we have a timeline, and I'll send it to you. It's like day one, this is what happens. We start a process, and then we make sure that you're in compliance. So after a couple of weeks of being my client, you're going to start the process, updating your employee handbooks, making sure you're in compliance with ACA, make sure that we get the sexual harassment training done, make sure that we get the workplace violence protection plan training done. So we've got a pretty good timeline, and we're very efficient with it to make sure that there's no fines you're going to be paying.
That's a massive benefit. Now, you've been on the show many times, and we never really dug into this one part of it. Yeah. Because, we talk about health insurance, and I guess you're probably starting to get kind of busy, and because I think we're going into open enrollment. It's usually right in the end of the year sometime.
Yeah, so majority of businesses in California, because of the Obamacare, they were able to move their open enrollments to the fourth quarter. So 90% of businesses in Orange County renew coming up right now. And, the fact that we can provide custom quotes for them, save them money with that, get them in compliance. So, yeah, right now is a very busy time for us.
And then, we can always go and chat a little bit about one of our diversions. You're also getting into football season.
Yep. We started football season. I coach at St. John Bosco. It's I guess a pretty well-known program around here, but just got back from Florida. We had a big game in Florida. This week, Friday night, tomorrow, we play a team from Texas. They're coming out here. So yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's fun.
Are you going to take their team to Disneyland while you're here?
I don't know what they're doing, to be honest with you. I think I heard a rumor that they're en route. I think they're practicing at our facilities this afternoon. I believe they're taking a bus, though. It's like a 11 or 16-hour bus ride. I'm not sure. But they're coming in. We'll play them tomorrow night. Good team, good program from Texas. We appreciate them coming over here and playing us. Definitely.
I could just imagine knowing my days of being a high school student. Could you imagine putting that a bunch of football players on a bus for 11 hours?
Well, we just did it when we went to Florida, right? We traveled with about 100. In staff, everyone's about 100, but about 70 football players. So I'm in charge of around 11 of them. So I've got a teenage boy who goes to Bray and plays baseball, but you can only imagine traveling with 11 teenagers, the stuff that goes on.
I'm sure it's a good time, but so being a football coach, you guys have a little extra opportunity for discipline if they get out of line, I'm sure.
All right. Yeah, we can hold some stuff over their head for sure.
Fun stuff. We're going to continue our conversation with Travis Robinson when we come back. Continue our conversation. Travis Robinson is with us. Maxwell Agency, St. John Bosco football coach, and a good guy. He's helping get information out to people. Travis, let's chat a little bit because I know you're doing some good stuff with the nonprofits that you work with as well. Talk about that program that you guys have at Maxwell.
Yeah, so we started a program where we give back to it started with high schools and youth sports programs because of my kids and because of my coaching background. I see what it takes to run a program, and then being a father that was in travel baseball, and I'm writing checks now to these programs, and it's like, man, it takes a lot of money to pay everybody and get everything done. So Maxwell, we've kind of created a program where we give back to nonprofits, and it's reoccurring monthly donations. So if we become your broker and you have a nonprofit that you want to donate back to, we'll do that every single month on your behalf. So it's gained a lot of traction, and we've given a lot of money back to nonprofits, which is great. It's a win-win.
So when you talk about giving money back to the nonprofits, that's you guys don't go and do all the research on the nonprofit. If it's an eligible 501c3, that's what you're looking for?
Yeah, and we don't determine what nonprofit. If you're a business owner and you have a kid that goes to a local high school and you want to donate back to that high school, if you're my client, you just say, hey, we want to give, every month back to this local high school, let's say St. John Bosco, or let's say Brea Olinda baseball. Then my company writes a check. All they have to be is a 501c3 nonprofit. And then we will donate every single month. As long as you're my client and as long as you want to donate back to that nonprofit, we'll continue to do that. If you want us to kind of break that up and give it to 2 different nonprofits, we'll do that as well.
I can just see the headlines now. St. John Bosco football coach donating to modern day football.
Well, that's fine. If
you're just helping the community, I love it.
If it's the modern day needs money too, I'm sure every program, every nonprofit would benefit from getting donations. So
I'm just busting your chops here,
yeah.
Travis, because something. The bottom line is, and I've shared this before with you off air, and I might have shared it on air as well. Even if you're when my son was playing football at Orange Lutheran,
yeah,
the coach there said that we obviously want to win, but our real scoreboard is what kind of men we develop 30 years from now. What's that look like? What those guys are doing 30 years from now? Are they good fathers, good husbands, good community members, good whatever?
Yeah.
And that's really the job that you guys have. I mean, who wins a high school football game is important for about 30 seconds in the scheme of life.
Right. Yeah. No, one of the guys I coached at Brea Olinda, I coached freshman football for 8 years. And one of the kids I coached is one of the guys that helped me get the job at St. John Bosco. So you build relationships, they're lifelong, you spend a lot of time with these kids. During the football season, I'll spend more time with my linebackers than I will with my own kids. That's just because we have film, we have weight room, we're on the field, right? I mean, we went to Florida. I was with my guys all the time in Florida. So you develop relationships with these guys. And they're young men. You see them kind of get freshmen. They're boys. They kind of grow up, and you see them. You really grow into young men. So there's a lot of benefits to coaching for sure.
You're developing a good thing. I mean, I still listen to my son, and he's my oldest is 35 now, and he still quotes things that he heard from his high school football coach.
Mm-hmm.
So you always have to be cognizant of that. But we only got about a minute left or so, Travis. Let's should talk a little bit more about what you really do and how you're able to do this. It's all through the insurance company, right?
Yeah, it's through Maxwell Agency. We're a small family owned. We've got about 10 employees, but we really compete against some of the larger firms, the things that we bring to the table, what we're able to do. But all my clients have my personal cell phone. They reach out to me, and then my support staff helps me make sure that everything's done properly. So employee benefits, group health insurance. If you have 2 to 1,000 employees, we can definitely help you save time, money, be in compliance. So yeah, there's a lot of things that we can do for them.
What would it cost if a company wanted to just come to you and get um, uh, a checkup?
Quote. Yeah. No, there's no cost. I mean, all these things that we provide for free are primarily for our clients. But if they come to me and say, "Hey, I've got 50 employees, I'm out of compliance with workplace violence protection plan. Can you help me?" So the answer would be yes, but with the expectation that you're going to let me quote the benefits, or you're going to let me get into the bid and talk about being your broker.
There you go. Travis Robinson, Maxwell Agency. If you want to get in touch with him, give me a call at 800-306-1990.